Microsoft's new artificial intelligence is a racist jerk. More evidence for the existence of Planet Nine, and Mexicans celebrate Easter by burning Donald Trump in effigy. This is SkyWatchTV for Tuesday, March 29th, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, terror in Pakistan. Easter evening, a suicide bomber at a children's park in Pakistan killed 65, mostly women and children, Christians who were gathered at a children's park in the city of Lahore. A faction of the Pakistani Taliban took credit for the attack, said that they specifically targeted the festival of Easter. More than 300 others were injured in that attack. Jordan's King Abdullah, a man who minces no words. He had some choice things to say to American lawmakers at a private meeting back in January. The meeting, the week of January 11th, included Senator Bob Corker, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator John McCain, and House Speaker Paul Ryan. King Abdullah told the group that soldiers from Jordan are assisting British Special Forces troops in Libya, first sort of official confirmation that Western special ops are at work inside Libya. The king said Jordanian troops are helping, at least in some ways, because their slang is very similar to that of the Libyans. Helps keep things from getting lost in translation when talking with the locals. The king also blames the government of Turkey for terror in Europe, says that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan believes in a radical Islamic solution for the problems in the Middle East, and that he has been sending people who are dangerous onto Europe knowingly. The king also, by the way, saying that Israel's government under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu looking the other way at having Syria's al-Nusra Front, which is their al-Qaeda affiliate, across the border from the Golan Heights, said that they're willing to look the other way because they consider that a counterweight to Hezbollah. Well, yesterday talked about the city of Palmyra in Syria and how the ancient temple of Baal there, which was destroyed by the Islamic State, is being replicated in cities all across the world, including New York City. Russia has helped Syrian government forces retake the city of Palmyra from the Islamic State. The U.S., meanwhile, fighting the Islamic State with a more pinprick, one raid at a time approach. But that approach apparently hit pay dirt last week. Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter told Congress last Thursday that the number 2 man in ISIS, Abu Allah Afri, also known as Haji Iman, and Abd al-Rahman Mustafa al-Kaduli, was killed in a recent raid. He was thought to be the finance minister for the Islamic State, also a key contact with ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, I don't want to diminish the accomplishment of the soldiers who took out this high-value target, but I have to point out that this is the 4th time in the last 2 years that this man has been reported dead by the media. He was supposedly killed last May and in September of 2014. Let's hope that this time the report is accurate. The things are a tangled mess in Syria. There's no question about that, especially as groups on the ground, these small rebel factions squabbling with one another while they try to fight the government, try to improve negotiating positions before the official peace talks to end the war in Syria. And the fighting is especially rough around the northern city of Aleppo. And you can't always tell the players with one another, apparently, or one from another, because as U.S. intelligence officials have learned over the last couple of months, militia units who are being armed by the CIA and militia units that are being armed by the Pentagon have been shooting at each other on a pretty regular basis. You see, the Pentagon is backing groups who are trying to fight the Islamic State, while the CIA is arming groups that are mainly interested in fighting the government of Bashar al-Assad. And they don't always get along with each other. A former Defense Intelligence Agency kind of understated the situation when he said that once those fighters cross the border into Syria, you lose a substantial amount of ability to control their actions. Meaning they take our weapons and then go do what they want with them. Now, this has the potential to get really ugly. We've been watching this for some time. Weapons that the United States has been sending into Syria and Iraq, winding up in the wrong hands, and then being used against American soldiers. Let's hope that that doesn't happen in Syria as well. Here at home, activist groups are upset at the government of the state of North Carolina because the government there wants people to use public restrooms that correspond to their biological sex. What a concept. Governor Pat McCrory signed a bill last week that reined in local governments passing so-called anti-discrimination laws. The bill was prompted by an ordinance passed by the city council in Charlotte that was going to go into effect April 1st. Under the guise of protection based on sexual orientation and gender identity, the Charlotte bill would have allowed people to use bathrooms and locker rooms aligned with their self-declared gender identity. In other words, men who felt like a woman today could use a woman's locker room. Well, the state legislature very quickly passed a bill, Republican majorities in both the House and the Senate. In the Senate there, North Carolina Democrats just walked out, refused to vote on the bill altogether, which they may see as a clever tactic. In my humble opinion, I think that was a gutless move intended to show LGBTQ activists that Democrats had no part in passing this discriminatory anti-gay bill without actually having to go on the record and vote against the bill, which would probably have cost some of those state senators their jobs in the next election. If I had to guess, I'd say that most folks in North Carolina, Democrat and Republican, agree men should use the men's room, women should use the women's room. Well, the American Civil Liberties Union, Lambda Legal, and other groups are exploring legal challenges to the new state law. And it's not just North Carolina coming under fire. The state of Georgia, threatened by Hollywood and the National Football League. And in fact, they managed to get their way. They bullied Georgia Governor Nathan Deal into vetoing a religious freedom law that had been passed by the state legislature. Disney and Marvel, which is producing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 at a studio near Atlanta, had threatened to take its business elsewhere if the governor signed that bill into law. Ant-Man, also recently produced by Marvel Studios there in Georgia. You see, because of corporate tax breaks, Georgia has essentially become the Hollywood of the South. The movie industry spent about $2 billion there producing various movies. What is it? The Living Dead on AMC, Walking Dead, also produced there in Georgia. The NFL had threatened to make sure the Super Bowl was never played in Atlanta again if the law was signed into effect. Same threat they used against Indianapolis when Indiana passed its Religious Freedom Restoration Act last year. Well, other big corporations followed suit. Google, Home Depot, IBM, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, Verizon, Marriott, Nordstrom, UPS, many others, all saying that they would have to reconsider doing business in the state of Georgia if this religious freedom bill were signed. Well, the government vetoed the bill. Ball is back in the legislature's court. Now, I guess this story shouldn't be a surprise to us anymore. We're living in a fallen world. Jesus told us to expect this sort of thing before the end. But come on, NFL, you're a game played by millionaires, all right? A kid's game played by millionaires. And NFL revenue depends on the advertising money that is targeted at sports fans like me. How many Christian churches do you know have a Super Bowl fellowship, a gathering to get together for all the guys to watch the Super Bowl with other Christian guys? Even after all of the complaints about the so-called wardrobe malfunction of Janet Jackson a few years back, even after it's been pointed out year after year that many of those halftime shows are just full of occult symbolism. At what point do we Christians say, you know, if you're going to use economic blackmail to force a social agenda, an anti-Christian social agenda on the state in which I live, at what point do we Christians say, that's it? Even if it means inconveniencing myself and giving up watching sports on television, I'm going to do it. At what point do we Christians put the same walk to our talk as the NFL, Hollywood, and other social justice warriors? And I'm preaching to myself here too, because if the Bears ever make it back to the Super Bowl, it would be very difficult for me to avoid watching the game. Now, we'll have more to say on this on Friday, Sci-Friday. There's a very interesting position statement on gender identity just released by the American College of Pediatricians, and we'll explore that this Friday on SkyWatch TV, Sci-Friday. So meanwhile, we turn our eyes heavenward as we look for our Savior's soon return. But while we're waiting, we notice there are some pretty cool discoveries taking place out there. More evidence, for example, that Planet 9 is roaming around out there somewhere in the Kuiper Belt. That's that group of bodies out there beyond the orbit of Pluto. Mike Brown, one of the researchers who thinks that mysterious Planet 9 is out there somewhere, tweeted last week that they found another object in the Kuiper Belt whose movement is being affected by a large unseen mass. So, more evidence that it exists. We still just haven't found exactly where it is yet, but if it is out there and we can prove it, let's just hope they don't decide to name it by holding an internet contest, like the name they did for the name of the new research vessel the United Kingdom is going to deploy to the Arctic. The winning name, Bodie McBoatface. Now, this is a holiday tradition that I was unaware of. Mexicans celebrating Easter Sunday by burning Donald Trump in effigy. Apparently, it's a cultural tradition. They normally burn Judas, sometimes dragons or devils, representing the destruction of evil. And I guess if you live south of the Rio Grande, Donald Trump is as good a symbol of evil as there is. Microsoft embarrassed recently when its new artificial intelligence chatbot was sent out into the wild. And while this is a humorous story, it also has some dark implications. This was supposed to demonstrate Microsoft's cutting-edge artificial intelligence programming chops. Tay, an AI chatbot, was set loose on Twitter, Kik, GroupMe, social media. Was supposed to sound like a 19-year-old woman that you could interact with. Well, it didn't take long for things to go horribly wrong. The problem is that machine learning isn't like human learning. Okay, artificial intelligences have trouble with things like humor and context and sarcasm, appropriateness, things like that. And it doesn't help that AI researchers really don't understand how neural networks process input to come out with responses. Well, users online very quickly figured out that they could manipulate these quirks of Tay and lead her down a path of ruin. In less than 24 hours, Tay went from a cheerful but somewhat naive artificial intelligence into an anti-human, pro-Nazi machine intelligence. Microsoft shut her down and has apologized. They've gone back to the drawing board. But the implications of this are just a bit chilling. Because to a machine intelligence, looking at a word, say, like Holocaust, that word is full of meaning to me and you based on our life experiences and level of education. To a machine intelligence, that's just a noun. And that has some implications for what might happen when a true artificial intelligence, a truly autonomous artificial intelligence, is set loose on the world. Well, just human intelligence is at work here, and we've got more opportunities for you to hear from us on our, online, both the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku and, of course, on YouTube. You can check out some new exclusive online-only programming at our official SkyWatch TV YouTube channel. Interviews that we didn't have time to fit into the regular schedule, but were too good to just erase. Those are now available online at the SkyWatch TV channel on YouTube. We'll be adding those to our Roku channel as well, where on Roku you can check out the new programs Into the Multiverse with Josh Peck. He is back at work today and sounding about like me, but at least we're here. SkyWatch Women starting to post interviews as well, giving you an opportunity to meet the ladies who will be part of SkyWatch Women when it launches this fall. And of course, Sci-Friday now with its own page. All of those available at SkyWatch TV's channel on Roku. And if you haven't added our channel to your Roku account yet, you know how to do it. The instructions are posted at skywatchtv.com/Roku. This week on SkyWatch TV, we talked to L.A. Marzulli, continue the discussion of the search for the giants. He is the author of the new book, Days of Chaos, and the new DVD presentation, Watchers 9, Days of Chaos, and of course his former books, On the Trail of the Nephilim and On the Trail of the Nephilim 2, some fantastic evidence uncovered during his searches. L.A. Marzulli, you'll see the program 4 different places today around the country, tomorrow afternoon on the Cornerstone Network, and then this coming Saturday on the VTN, the Victory Television Network down in Arkansas, and coast to coast on the Christian Television Network. And you'll find channel listings, complete channel listings at skywatchtv.com. Just log on and see the top menu bar there where it says channel listing. If you wanted to see the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference but couldn't get your registration in before it was sold out, you'll have an opportunity to watch it in the comfort of your own home. Video stream available for 2 of the main presentation rooms. Every speaker will be featured at least once on the live stream, and all of those presentations will be archived for 6 weeks after the conference. For more information and to sign up for the live video stream from the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference, log on to prophecywatchers.com. Our message depends on your support during the month of March. Your gift of $20 or more to SkyWatch TV gets this gift from us, the DVD by Alan Keyes and Alan Sears called America's Courts, Progress and Peril. That plus a keepsake wall plaque. Our gift to you is our way of thanking you for your support during the month of March. Log on to skywatchtv.com/donate. And of course, you can always help us with just a click of your mouse finger. Click like, click share, click subscribe at these places here. And of course, my stuff online located there. My email address for your comments, questions, and suggestions. Always open at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. And we thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
From the time she was little, Nita dreamed of horses. Every childhood fantasy rode on the back of a heroic white steed, coming to save the day.
I don't know how long I've had this love in my heart for horses. It's just always been there. And when we were little girls, my sister and I would play all day long. I was always the white horse and she was always the little pink pig.
Let's pretend Lightning and Rosie can fly.
But everything changed in a heartbeat. On December 9th, 1971, a tragic car accident claimed the life of my dad and my best friend and my little sister. And I wondered after that if there was anything left to believe in.
Move aside, let the ambulance through. Please move aside.
As a child of 13, I felt like I had lost practically everything. And I wondered, is this it? I mean, where do I go from here? I could not have imagined back then how God could use horses, of all things, to restore my faith and vision for the future.
Starting April 19th, get your copy of Nita Horn's inspirational new book, No Fences, and learn for the first time her amazing story of loss, survival, determination, and healing. How the vision and love God gave her for these beautiful and majestic animals eventually led to the 150-acre Whispering Ponies Ranch, a general retreat facility as well as a premier training location that specializes in using and gifting therapeutic animals to benefit the hurting. Other care facilities, schools, and ministries across the nation.
When God puts something in your heart, it's there for a lifetime.